Whether you're a game designer, software developer, graphic artist, or in any other similar industry, you're going to need a place to showcase your work. Now, in these highly competitive fields, employers are looking for more than just quality work. They want to make sure that prospective hires have a deep understanding and passion for the industry. And the best way to demonstrate that is with a portfolio blog. I'm Professor Akram, and in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to set up and create a portfolio blog. What exactly is a portfolio blog? Well, on one side, it's a website portfolio where you highlight your best and most recent work. On the other side, it's a blog where you share periodic articles or posts. And these posts can be anything from general game reviews to new techniques you've learned, or even a breakdown of your design process. The goal is to show that this is more than just an 8-to-5 job for you, that you have a deep interest for game design, game development, and even the actual act of playing games. While there are a lot of tools for developing your own website portfolio/blog, the one that we're going to explore today is WordPress.com. And so we're going to go ahead and get started making your very own portfolio blog. So let's go over to WordPress here. And when you first come to WordPress.com, you're given this screen and you can either log in or get started. We're going to assume that you don't have an account, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing you're going to want to do is create a new account. You're going to want to fill in your email address and your username. This is not necessarily the username for your blog. This is just a username for WordPress.com. You can actually have multiple sites on WordPress.com. Once you've created your user account and you've logged in, the first thing you're going to want to do is set up a site. And to do this, you're going to want to set up a name for your blog. This is also going to be part of the URL. You're going to want to choose something that is professional. It can be your name, but it doesn't have to be. Just something professional. It could be maybe a studio name that you have in mind or something like that. I'm going to go with Professor Akram. And again, it shows me the different variations that I can choose for the name of this site as far as the URL. You can purchase a custom URL if you want. I'm just going to keep it with the WordPress.com because I want a free site. Now, the next thing you're going to want to do is choose a theme for your site. There are a variety of options here, and you can always go back and change your theme later, but they just give you sort of a overview of a handful that you can access right now. And I'm just going to arbitrarily pick the first one here. And as you can see, one of the things that you can do is it gives you some options, whether you want to change the font style or something. And then you can also take a look at what this site would look like, whether it was on a tablet, whether it was on a mobile phone, or whether it was on a laptop. And then once you hit continue, it'll ask you what type of features are you going to need. And some of these features are free, some of them are paid. I think most of the ones here are going to be custom features, and so we don't need to do any of that. We can skip for now. And then it's going to ask you whether you want to do the select plan features, and we want to do just a free site, so we're going to select that one, and then it goes into building your site. Now, once you've got that all set up, you will be taken to basically your first page, which is your home page that you can edit. But I'm actually going to jump out of this and move into the dashboard. On the dashboard, this is where you're going to edit and refine your site. So you're going to want to go to your dashboard, and there's a bunch of different items here. When you're first setting up your site, let's go back to the design area. And when we first created our site, it asked us to choose a theme, but there was a very limited amount of themes that we could choose from. So with that said, we can actually, once we're in our dashboard, go to themes, and we can see a much more wide variety of themes. If I scroll down here, we'll see the ones that we've had, and I can also choose to see all themes. I'm going to choose the free themes here so that I'm only looking at the themes that I have access to as a free membership, and I can choose any ones that I want. I've actually gone ahead and selected this theme here, and once you choose a theme, if you're on the themes page, you can choose customize from here, or if you just want to go back and edit your theme once you've got it set up, you can go over to the menu off on the left under design. You can choose customize. And from here, you can start updating your site. You have things like the site identity, which is the title of your site. The colors and backgrounds are related to the background colors. I suggest that you just go explore, go play with it. You can always reset to the default if something doesn't come out correctly, but you'll want to go in and play with it. In my particular theme, I have a heading image, so I have header image here, and I can just hit the add new button to upload files right here, or select from files that are in my media library. You'll also notice some of these food images. These were brought in from that default theme that I started off with when I first created the site. Now, like I said, you are going to want to play around with this, change it up. Each theme may have a few different options, but one of the options that all themes will have is the homepage settings. And this basically asks you, where do you want people to start when they come to your URL? Do you want them to go to a custom homepage, or do you want them to just see your latest blog post in chronological order? And I am choosing the latest blog post. I just want them to come to see my postings. You can choose a static page if you want. So you could choose like the blog page or the home page, and these are just different pages. I'm just going to stick with the latest post here. The other item here are your menus, and these are the different pages. Like right now I have a home and a blog. These are default. These come in with your theme. So depending on which theme you have, it may have some generic pages auto-created for you. We're going to go through and I'll show you how to edit those and make new ones. But these become part of your menu system. And I don't necessarily need either of these two because my homepage is actually going to be my blog post, and I don't necessarily need a blog page because they can always go home to see that. But before we get started with all that, we need to go ahead and go make some pages. So I'm going to exit out of this. Of course, if you've made changes to any of your customization within the theme, you're going to want to hit save changes. But I'm actually going to exit out of this and go back to my dashboard. Now, from my dashboard, you will see that there is a Sites tab, and under the Sites tab, you have Pages, Posts, and Media. So, Media is where you can upload images for your site. You can do that here. You also have the options to edit any of the images that you've uploaded, like these placeholder images right now. They're eating up space, that limited amount of space that WordPress.com gives free sites. So, you probably want to go ahead and delete those images that showed up by default. Now, in that way, that'll give you some more space on your plan. But what we really are going to look at in this tutorial is setting up pages and posts. So pages and posts work the same way as far as creation, but they display in a little bit different areas. Posts obviously show up in sort of chronological order on your main blog page, and then you click on it and you can read the full article. Pages, on the other hand, get added to your navigational menu, and these are items that don't change or don't get updated, things like the About Me page, the Contacts page, or perhaps even your portfolio page. So we'll take a look at pages right now, and you can see that I have two pages. I have a home page and a blog page. I'm going to real quickly add an About Me page over here. And that's going to take me to the page layout, where I'm going to be able to select sort of a starter page that has information already set up for me that I can edit, or I can go ahead and start with a blank page. It's really up to you how you want to set this up. My suggestion is go ahead and start with a simple default page. So let's say I want to click on this one here, and I'm going to use this layout. And from here, I can go ahead and change the information. I can click on the image, for example, hit replace, choose one of the images from my library. Another nice feature is that you can choose images from your Google's Photos, or I can choose images from Pixels. So Pixels is a free image library using the Creative Commons. This is great, especially for your blog posts, because you should always have an image included in your articles. And I'll show you that here really quickly. But then I can upload an image if I wanted to. I can click on any one of the text items here and hit, maybe I want to say about me. Maybe I want to change this little introduction, like hello and welcome, and so forth and so forth. So I can change any one of these text areas. You also have a little sort of top bar here that allows you to do some quick text edits, whether you're wanting to change this from a paragraph to a heading, whether you want to bold something or change the text alignment. Those are all options available to you here. Now, if you want to add new sections to your page, that is as simple as just clicking. Once you're in a blank area of the page, a little plus sign will show up and it'll be adding a block. So I'll add a block and it'll ask me what is it that I want to add. Do I want to add some contact info, business hours, or paragraph? So I can just start writing hello, and so forth and so forth. So these are options available to me as well. And the other thing that you want to do over here on the sidebar is you have some information regarding this block of text. I've got information about the page, but once you have your page set up, you're either going to save it as a draft or publish it. Now the page will not display until you actually publish it. So I'm just going to do publish for right now. And I'm going to say, sure, make it public. Now, keep in mind, at this point, our website hasn't even been launched, so the site itself isn't published. But I can actually choose to go view my site, which, sure, let's go take a look at it. So here is the About Me page. Of course, we didn't really do anything to it. But if I want to go back and edit, which I do, I'm going to go back to my sites over here. Takes me back to the sites that I was working on. And if I go to pages over here, you can see I now have an About Me page. Now, if you recall, our menu actually had some of these other pages listed. So if I go back to the design and customize, I can go back to my menu in my primary menu, and right now I only have home and blog. But if I hit add items, I can now add the about page. And I can also delete pages that I don't need. I don't need a blog page or that generic home page because I've already told it to just show my posts on the home page. And my title of my site is also the link to the homepage, so I don't necessarily need that. So I can just keep the About Me. Now, as I make more pages, like I said, the context page or the portfolio page, I can add those to the menu as well. So I'm going to go ahead and save my changes here, go back. So now I can see that this will take me to the home page and this will take me to that About Me page that we created earlier. I'm going to go back to the home page and I'm going to go ahead and get out of the design features. So that's setting up a page. A post is pretty much the same. I've got a post that I made a little bit earlier as an example, and then there's the generic posts that came with the theme. I'm going to go ahead and just create a new post to go walk you through this real quick. So once you go to the post page, it's a little bit different from pages. There's no specific layout. There's a theme layout that's based on the theme that you chose for how your post will display. So really all you need to do is add that content. My suggestion to you is go ahead and write everything out in like a Word document so that you can spell check it, you have everything prepped, and then just copy and paste it. So for my example here, I'm going to create a blog post talking about the concept document and the importance of it in the game development pipeline. And I'm going to do some copying and I'm going to paste all that inside of here. And because I wrote it in Word, it did catch certain formats that I made to this document, such as bulleted lists and bolds. It didn't carry over some of my headings, but I can change that up real quick. I'll just come in here and say I want to make this a heading, and so forth and so forth. So there is my setup. Now with every post, it's important to include an image with your post. And to do that, if I go over here to post, if you scroll over, there is something called a featured image, and this is the image that is tied to your post. So if I hit select over here, from here I can choose images that are in my media library, my Google Photos, or from Pixels. So you can choose that. Again, all your articles, all your blog posts should have some sort of image related to that. And there are quite a few that are just some generic like video game images over on Pixel. I'm going to actually choose the media library, and I can choose an image that I already have, or I can add a new one. In my case, I have an image that I actually downloaded earlier from Pixels, and I want to use that one. And I'll hit insert, and this will become my featured image here. Aside from setting your featured image, another thing that you can do is create a little synopsis for your article. By default, on your post page, it will show a little few lines about your blog post, and by default it's going to show the first few sentences. So if you are writing sort of a lead up to what your post is about, those first few sentences might not necessarily be attention grabbing enough or make any sense. So my suggestion is to always write a short summary. Here I can talk about how this is talking about the concept document and how it's related to the game development production pipeline. So one of the most important documents in game development is the concept document. And so this just gives a little bit of highlight about what we're going to be talking about and so forth. Now for all your posts, you're going to want to put it in a category, and this is just for organizational purposes. It gives people an idea of the types of things that you write about. So I've already created a category called game analysis, but you can see that I can add new categories. So maybe I have a category for game design. Maybe I have a category for game development. Maybe even just general game reviews. It just depends on what you're wanting to write about. Now, typically you would keep your blog posts organized in a single category. You know, I guess I'll put this particular article, I'll list it as game design. And then the next thing that you want to do is add tags to your post. Tags, again, are for search features if people are trying to search for a specific topic. So this is obviously game design, hit enter, game development, hit enter, game production, game design document, game concept document. So again, these are all just terms that I think would be relevant. If somebody was searching for any one of these, they would come across this blog post. So just think of a few. You don't need a whole lot, at least 5 just relevant themes. If you're doing like a game review, obviously you want to make mention of the game that you're reviewing. You want to make mention of the platform. Same thing if you're doing something on a technique, or if you're working in a specific game engine, you'll want to add those items into the tags because those are searchable items. The last little bit here is that you want to make sure that you've got this set to public, and when do you want to publish this. If you are wanting to go out at a specific date, you can actually click on here and choose the date and time for it to post. Now, you'll want to post periodically. That doesn't mean you have to post every day, but especially if you are looking for a job, if you're sending this site out to employers, they want to know that you didn't just set this up for the job search. You didn't just do this for school. You're going to want to post maybe at least once a month. Keep it fresh, keep it updated. Again, this is the highlight that you really have a drive and passion for the industry, and you're not just looking for a quick 8-to-5 job. So at least post once a month, I would say, just making sure that the content is fresh and that you're giving some more insight and feedback about your interests and goals in the gaming industry. With that said, once you have a post, you can hit publish. And I'm going to hit publish right here. It's asking me if I want to view the post, so I'm going to click yes. This is what the post is going to look like from the page. And then if I click up on the top here where I go to my site, it's going to take me back to my site. I can also click on my site right here to get a preview of what it's looking like, so you can see some of the posts that I have. Again, you're going to want to delete all those placeholder posts that came in with your theme and customize it. There's a lot that you can do with WordPress.com. Again, this is just a quick little overview. But the most important thing that you're going to want to do once you've gotten your first post out of the way, once you've got your about page and you've got everything set up, the first and most important thing is to actually launch the site. So you won't be able to actually see the website until you launch it. So once you launch it, it's going to ask you one more time if you need it to buy a URL. We're just going to stick with the free one, so we're going to skip the purchase. Again, it's going to give you that ad to see if you want to purchase a plan. We're going to do a free plan. And it shows me that your site has been launched. So if I click the sidebar over here where it says Professor Burris, I can actually click visit my site. And this right here up in the top is your URL for your portfolio blog. So it'll have whatever your site name was, .wordpress.com. And in my case, it's professorakram.wordpress.com. Now, another important thing is that while you're editing your site, before you launch it, you can always go to this URL and see the site. So in order to make sure that you've launched it, again, if I go back to my sites, it no longer shows me that I need to launch the site, but just in case I want to make sure that the site is actually live, I'm going to go over to my profile, and from there I can log out. So now I'm completely logged out, and what I should be able to do, if I click in the search bar here, I should be able to type professorakram.wordpress.com, and it should take me to my site. And you will see that there may be little ads, banners on your site. This is part of the free WordPress type stuff, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. But this is it. It is live, and I can click on my articles. And each article will have its own URL specifically to that individual blog post. So if I hit back here, you can see that I also have the About Me page that's live, and I can go back to my page, and there you have it. This was just a quick run through of how to set up a WordPress portfolio blog. There's a lot more to it as far as adding portfolio items, really fleshing out those pages and creating your posts. But this just gives you a starting point. Like I said, there are a lot of great tutorials, especially in the WordPress.com site, where you can get more information on how to customize your site.
I hope you found this lesson informative, and don't forget to check out other lessons and tutorials on the channel. So what are you waiting for? Get creative today.